Hey dude, how's it going? Thanks for sending the new version here. Let's give it a watch one time over.
I'm not your man.
I'm what you want here, I'm what you need here. Just you and me, my love in paradise. Now till the end of time. From here on out, you're mine.
Awesome. So I think it's really solid. It's mostly getting there. I think there's a few things I'm going to point out for a variety of topics, but the majority of notes are going to be kind of lip sync things. I've been digging into lip sync a lot lately because I'm a character lead on my current film, and I've been building the animation library for the phonemes and learning a bunch about phonemes and libraries and such. And I actually just finished a course that was really good. This is the course, Total Lip Sync, with Laurent Rossi, who's used to be a lead animator, well, animation supervisor at DNEG. He just left to go to ILM on an upcoming feature as animation director. But this class is really cool. Really dug into things I didn't think too much about in lip sync. So it's a good one. If you find it on sale at any point, definitely check it out. But yeah, let's go through the notes, and a lot of them are going to be lip sync, and then I'm going to jump into the Maya scene and maybe show one or two things. There's a common issue I'm seeing in your work that I want to look at. So let's start off with just general notes. So the very start, I think you've got motion on this guy's head, but I feel like his body is a bit still. So I wonder if at the very start he's finishing an exhale and then maybe breathing in. You get like a bit of chest residual, so maybe it's like as he turns, you get the exhale. And as he turns, you start to come up slightly. Just connecting the body. Basically, the body just feels a bit isolated at the very start here. Awesome. And now... yeah, so there's some sync stuff. We're going to look in the scene of the actual sync itself. So here, the M sound, you need to basically have the lips touching for when the sound hits. Right now, you might be around right. It might be a frame or so late. We can look in the actual scene in a second. Cool. Here, I feel like I can see the teeth sliding. I wonder if it's the actual... yeah, no, I think it is the teeth sliding. So we have like no teeth, teeth disappearing, teeth gone. So since we're doing a close here, we can make a decision where we want those teeth and then don't cheat it. So I think you should probably just have a little bit of teeth. It's there. It's still there. It's still there. And if the lips are moving down, maybe it slowly goes away, but... cool. But right now I can just see it sliding on those frames there. So D's, T's, there's more where you touch the roof of your mouth. Obviously L's, you touch the roof of your mouth, but T's you definitely do. So not ta ta ta. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth, but yeah. So that certainly needs to be added in there. And then here I want to talk about a concept called preparatory shapes. So there are some shapes that are preparatory, so you don't actually, you always anticipate these shapes. A U, which is kind of like a U phoneme, is preparatory. So right now you're kind of doing it as the sound happens, but you actually need to get to it and then open away from it as the sound happens. So you need to get into this shape earlier. So when you're coming up here, I don't think you go wide, I think you go narrow. And then you can snap open for the jaw, for the yaw. Same for snap open for the vowel on man. So this is a common note I'm going to be pointing out, and I'm going to be attempting to kind of show you how I tackle this in the scene. But your vowels, your open shapes, you're not popping open enough. And especially if you have anticipation with preparatory shapes, you can really snap into that and bias heavily. So here, for example, right now your spacing might be closer to a more even spacing like this. But you already anticipated with the preparatory shape, so you can snap out to like 80% and then just ease in over a few frames and then ease back out over a few frames and then snap into the next one. So I think there's just a bit of evenness in the lip sync in general in a few places. So here, for example, we're opening like 20%, 40%, 50, 60, 60, whatever to get to it. So it's just like straight to 70%, then 90%, and then we're just like moving through it would be great. Cool. And then there's a few things here. Same with the popping for want. I feel like I'm not really feeling... I feel like we're getting to the max of want here. And then you close instantly as soon as you get to the max. So instead you have your preparatory shape. In this case it's your tight W sound. And then you can kind of snap open heavy bias again for the ah. We got a T here as well, so you need to get that tongue on the roof of the mouth for want. And man, N is another one where you have to get the roof to the top of the mouth. Man, na 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 na. So if I draw the side of the mouth, let me draw in black and maybe make this slightly bigger. If I draw on this, like this is looking at the mouth from the side, and L is this way. A N and a T is a bit more like this in the mouth. So you're not necessarily curving all the way back. It's still kind of forward, and it's at the back of the teeth. Here's your teeth. And the L is, different. So this is like a N, D, T. The phonemes that you would have the tongue in that placement, and this is like an L. So when you're doing these, I've maybe drawn them a bit too much like L's. It's hard graphically from the front to see that, but these would be a little bit less curled back on themselves for that kind of shape, if we're going for more anatomical accuracy. Maybe we can show a little bit more teeth here on the left screen left side, just because right now it's I also think the teeth on the bottom feel a bit small. Maybe you can widen these. It's good to get that negative space on either side, but it should kind of cover the majority of the inside of the mouth. So we could look at that. Pushing that would be good. A bit of negative on the side, but doesn't need that much. Cool. Cool, so this is a bit more of a body note, which is, I feel like right here, the actual head is dragging, but the hips aren't. I think it's good that you're leading with the chest, but the body is maybe moving a bit too much as a whole, same with the chair. So I think you can just delay the butt, so it really feels like this is what's leading, and then these things are catching up. Whereas right now it feels like the whole lower body is one piece. So it's just finding ways to break it up a bit. So you can drag the leg slightly. I mean, it doesn't have to be as crazy as this. The leg could be more like here. Let's increase this rubber size. So yeah, the leg could be more like here for some of this. And then for me, I feel like your spacing just hits a bit of a wall here on him. So I think you can honestly just remove this whole frame and it would work better. And then you can get to where you are already. Cool, let's look at this. You can show the T what, so you can see just before the T is made by the sound of the T actually comes from the tongue flicking down from the roof of the mouth. So you need to get there like a frame early or 2 frames early and hold it for 2 frames, kind of like a closed MBP kind of shape. So you want to get that tongue up for that. What to I feel like I'm not seeing any what should the ch and the W in here. The ch is going to be more lips curled out and pushed forward away from the skull. And then I'm not really feeling the E. I mean, maybe this is too wide, but you can definitely cheat it to camera a bit more so we really see that phoneme for the E. And I mean, we're never going to be able to see it, but there's an N here that you'd do the roof of the mouth thing with the tongue. And then it can flick down on here. So you see that it flicking down during this shape. Cool. Now we're here. So I think just more bias here. It's kind of an in-between that's kind of 50% or maybe even 30%. We can really snap like 80%. And your eye line very quickly goes off. I feel like she's looking at his ear maybe instead of his eyes. So watch out for that. Kind of here's an example. Your R shape I wonder about. And you're kind of doing a bit more of a W. The R, you're actually pushing your bottom lip above your top teeth. It's W. So if I do that from the front view, which is W, different to a the w or the type W sound pulls your lips down a bit, whereas the r comes up. So you can come up a bit more with that top lip coming over. And this isn't the best drawing, but this is closest like an R shape. It's not the best drawing. There's some appeal to be worked out, but that's an example of a more of an R shape than a W. And then here we're getting just, so ch is kind of like the ch, ch, so we can get more lip roll. Watch. Right, pushing those lips forward for that. Roll. Ch. Roll. Plus pushed. Lips forward. This working better lip sync wise. This shape, I feel like again there's just, she's going very loud. I think we can pop that vowel. Right now we go maybe 30%. I don't know, maybe it's like 40%. But I think we can get a clearer vowel open here. And then maybe we can look at the chin drag here, might just be a bit too much. Get that chin in a bit more. Cool, I'm not gonna. Cool, and then the other thing with the L breakdown on the way down, it's nice to drag the bass. So right now you're kind of just dropping it. It's nice to drag that bass and then flick it down. It'd be good if you saw it a bit here as well, landing. Cool, let's keep going. Same here, more bias for the vowel. Here we're kind of easing into the loud sound, and then as soon as we get there we come out of it. So instead it's that same spacing thing, it's that same, we pop to 80% and then we can get there, and then we can also start to ease out slightly on the other side. So it's pose A, pose B, and before we get to C, which is your S shape, we can ease out and then snap closer to the S. So it's just trying to remove evenness in a lot of places from your jaw and your how you're hitting those phonemes. This is too even as well. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 frames before we kind of get into our main phoneme and jaw max, which feels a bit off. So that's another So it's something I've noticed in a lot of it, which is you need to just bias your phonemes more, especially your open vowels. You can pop open into those vowels, like pretty harsh. Cool. And then here, I like this moment where she's doing the shoulder, but I feel like you're almost missing one at the start. And I see you're doing it, but you're doing it on the turn. You almost feel like you want to, when you cut, start so that you can finish the move, if that makes sense. So you're like a little bit straighter, and then you can finish the move over a few frames, just so that you can see that first shoulder coming up move. Now till the end of time, you know? Whereas right now, we cut to it and it's already up, so you only get now till the end of time. Whereas it'd be cool to see the proper one to the end of time. So you actually see that fun little danciness that she's doing, and maybe there's a double bounce as well in her step. Let's check if you've got that.
Now till the end of time.
You kind of have it. I feel like there's some work to be done with the weight a little bit here. We kind of hit a wall and just go straight up instead of slowing down our progression and continuing it. We kind of hit a wall here. So watch out for that. And then here, the TH shape is a preparatory shape, so we want to get to that till the. We want to get to the TH earlier and see it. TH is your teeth with the tongue in the middle. You can see it clearer. And I feel like we can pop open into the E phoneme as well, so we properly see it. Here we got some... Oh no, that's not the tongue, that's the shoulder. Okay. And, I feel like you can get more preparatory forward pushed lips for this of as well. Like we're anticipating that as soon as we come out there, and then of, we can pop open into the vowel open. Like we can just pop into this more. Cool. And then this guy, I wonder about him. In general, the appeal on this phase, actually, I'm gonna comment, is I feel like it's lacking in this area. I wonder if they have eyelash controls, if there's a way to exaggerate that. There's something slightly just unappealing about her in this, design-wise. I wonder if it's the brows need to open up more this way. The nose, this part of the nose looks super thin. I don't know if there's something going on in the controls. Just feel like there's some way to design this pose for the face better. So there's something to dig into. Maybe we need to turn the head slightly more to camera to help with it. Something to think about. We can look at it in the scene in a sec. Cool, now let's look at this guy. I feel like this move is too linear. And there's not really anything necessarily leading it. The whole face goes kind of at once. I mean, the mouth actually leads it, which feels a bit strange. I feel like the eyes should lead. Just get the eyes much snappier. Get that wider there quicker, and then you can drop the mouth. Another idea is maybe gritted teeth, but I quite like the that you're going for, but I think it's just that general spacing is too even to get into that, so you got to watch out for that. Here, the mouth, I think you can cheat the back of the mouth so that you see it behind. Right now it feels a bit too tucked. It'd be nice to see that backside flesh. And then the mouth corners through this section feel a bit off. End of time. I feel like there should be like a slight arc to the mouth corners. And then also you're kind of going wider on the mouth corners here, even though from is the next, even though the R is the next thing the corners are going to demand attention from. It's almost like you need to go round and in, and then continue going in for the M and the TH. The corners kind of can be anywhere for those shapes. And then you can get into that nice F. Not drawn it very well. Cool. the out feels late and it's probably too even. And also I feel like your lips start to push forward, but we need to track the overall kind of forward and back of them through here a bit better. And in general, your phrasing feels a bit off. The real shapes you need to hit are this one. So you go for an OW kind of ow, which is like a tight, it's kind of like what I've drawn here, so tight, very tight, narrow shape. And then you can go into like a more natural like open version of that, which is like the normal O. And the T and the R here kind of are in-betweens, so we're not too bothered if that's just the tongue. And we go straight from the open. Yeah, it's a bit clunky in here, the lips. I'm going to look at this in particular, I think, in the scene and try and explain it a bit better. And also mine, na. The N on mine is missing as well, which is the roof at the top of the mouth. So yeah, a lot of lip sync. And I want to kind of go through a few in the scene and talk about them. So let's do that. So I don't have his textures because he's got custom stuff. So I want to look at... Oh, this is loud. Let's turn this down. Still pretty loud. Oh, I don't want to mute it though. I do want to hear it. Give me a little bit. So here's an example, right? Let's look at your curve. Let's really get there. Feels like it continues to grow. Maybe this is the squash, which is making it feel like that. So we can really bias the squash on this. Maybe it's in the Z as well. So let's maybe do this for this and this. And just make them like a tight ease in. Still feel like it can be closer. And the teeth can snap to wherever they end up. And the lips can get closer to wherever they end up. But we can really pop open on this vowel, you know? And maybe even the corners. So let's look at the lips in general throughout this moment. So let's say this is the most extreme. I'm just going to go back a few and delete the frames. And then on this, I'm just going to 100% get to it. And then I'm going to ease back slightly. So I've got hotkeys for this. And then I might cheat the tongue positioning slightly to see it, just so it doesn't come out of nowhere. Maybe I'll cheat the corner. So here I might have your in-between slightly earlier. And I want to drag that tip. And then I want to see that base. So let's zero this guy. Let's see the... Oh, I didn't zero it. Oh, I'm only on selecting the Y. That's why. Let's zero these guys. Boom, boom. Excuse me. Okay. It's not zeroing. Let's zero it. So I just want to see that aftermath. And the in-between. There you go. And then I want to pop more on this frame. So let's look at it. Looks like you've got a decent bias in the jaw itself, but let's push it. I want to keep that tongue visible through this move. I'm just going to pose it a bit more to camera. Much more in here as well. Feel like you're a bit late on the sync here. So let's get into that 2-frame hold earlier. So I can hear it on this frame. So one thing I'm doing actually that I need to show you is in my settings, something that helps with sync is I go to, I think it's in audio. Is it in time slider or is it in audio? I'm going to check both. Sound, repeat on hold. Yeah, sound repeat on hold means when I hold down the frame, you hear it. So here I can hear that we're heavily getting towards this. I'm just going to snap to the next one, ease back slightly to the next phoneme, and I'm also going to push that jaw. This one might be a bit much because I'm bouncing back and forth too much. So let's go open, slightly more open, and then we're easing back out before we snap into the P. I think we can get into this P a bit sooner. And there's an N in here as well, so I want to get that tongue to the roof of the mouth. So I want to pose the tongue somewhere that we can see the shape change. So let's make that position from the open point. Make sure it's visible. So from the point that we open, we can already see some tongue, so that's good. And as I said before, the N, anything with the tongue, N, L, D, it's these are preparatory, so we need to get there to lead. We need to get there before the sound and then flick out of it during the sound. I actually think this should be the opposite. I'm just gonna lead with the bass like this. Oops. Bass goes up, and then we drag the middle. We drag the tip. Sorry. Let's make sure we can feel that drag. Cool. I might think the corner is a bit too poppy on this frame. So I'm just going to look at these guys, set a key, and just start to get closer the frame before. Still feels a little bit poppy. I think we just need to get the corners. Let's just look at the corners and what's going on. I think from about here we need to start coming in. I think that's the issue here. So we're already kind of getting towards the narrower shape to prep for the open. For the R. I wonder if it would be nice to get a little bit more depth on this. So when we're opening, set a key, maybe 2 frames later, we start to come forward slightly. And then we drag it. Now, I'm only holding this for 1 frame now, so I need to hold it for 2 frames. Let's go back a frame. But obviously we don't want it to be completely stuck, so we're going to keep these lips going. Keep these corners going. I'm just like easing them back slightly. Usually I animate with perspective open as well, because it helps me look at it from multiple angles. So let's do that. Let's get perspective open. Boom, boom. Cool. Let's look at this. Coming from here, we're going back here. So let's drag this. So it's got somewhere to go. And let's give this top lip somewhere to go. Maybe get that top lip closer. I feel like this top lip's doing a bit too much, but I don't know if it's just the top lips. I'm just going to key a bunch of this stuff. Maybe ease closer to it here. I think it's a bit of this as well. Let's pull this back. And the corner's doing a lot here as well, so let's calm that down. And then we pop open. So another thing to pay attention to with lip sync is you kind of don't want your apexes of your jaw, bottom lip, top lip, and corners to hit on the same frames. So here, the jaw can pop open, but maybe we drag slightly the bottom lip, and then that gets to its apex. And then maybe you want to drag some of this pinch that's going on here. So it opens at a slightly different timing. I feel like this top lip is doing a bit too much through here. Turn the lights back on so it's clearer. So let's look at this top lip. Maybe I'll drag it a bit. It's a bit even here. Look at it. That's better. Cool, so let's look at some of this biasing. Got the teeth I can see doing stuff here, which I don't want to. So let's look at this. So we get to here, so let's do that. Let's maybe just get some teeth in this shape so that it doesn't feel like they come out of nowhere. So I feel like you're late here again. So let's just get to this one. And then this one. Okay, let's look at it. We want to heavily bias the extreme, which is here. So I'm just going to set key on the extreme and just rebuild this. So set key on the extreme. I'm going to delete the in-betweens for now. I'm going to go where the sound is, which is on this frame. And I'm just going to snap all the way, start to ease back slightly. The teeth, I think, should go in a more appealing position. Let's look at that. So we do have spread and bend and this kind of stuff. So let's look at it. This one, I think I want to just tuck in a bit more. There you go, so you can see it. And the corners, you know, we can drag them slightly more. I'm going to set a key on the next frame, drag them back. So we're already, you know, we're heavily biasing here. Same with the squash and stretch, probably. Let's see what that's doing. Yeah, so we're not getting to the extreme of the squash and stretch into here. So I'm going to go to the frame before. Set a key, frame after set a key, snap to it, ease back slightly. And here I can feel those top teeth moving a bit too much. So let's look at it. What's happening with them? They move between here and here. So I'm just going to set a key on here on the open and just snap it. So I just eat it 100% to the next one. And then I think this in between might be fine. And then I think we need to snap into, get rid of this one. Snap into the close, which is on this frame. So snap into the close. So we're a bit early. We can just drag this stuff out a little bit. Gonna add an in between, ease out for the close, and then drag it. That feels better. That feels nice. So now we're quite late on now. So we're already opening here. Ow. We need to get into a wah here. Which you do quite late. So I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to set a key on this one. I'm just going to delete the in-betweens. So I want to get the lips. Let's delete. Let's grab all of this. The squash as well. Yeah, let's do it with the squash. Delete all the in-betweens. We're getting towards this out shape, so it's going to be just even now. But I want to kind of start to get there earlier. So here I feel like we can start to bias that shape. So let's start to do that. So it's a preparatory shape, so we're starting to get towards that W shape. Doesn't have to get all the way there. And then here, we hear the open. So we're going to snap, open. The teeth are moving too much through here, so I'm just going to make sure they're 100% not moving. So just 100% biased them back. Okay, 100% biased them back. And on this frame, we can snap them. Okay, maybe we don't snap them. They look like they're moving though, which is not great. Even though they're not moving, so something else is moving them, which is... So let's get into a clearer W shape here as well. Let's push it forward, push it down slightly. We can use zip. We can get into like a tight wah. This is like a more of a W shape right here, like a very tight little wah. So this is what we're working towards. So let's work towards it. So I still feel one frame late here. So we're too even through here, so we made our shape on this frame. I'm going to delete some in-betweens. We pop open on this frame, and then maybe 2 frames later I'm going to snap to that and ease back slightly. And then maybe ease the lips a bit less. Maybe we can arc it under slightly. So that jaw is a bit too poppy, so let's look at it. So yeah, you don't really want to have, you have these one frame opens, but we want to make like the snappy opens is good, but we need to continue it across a couple frames so it doesn't feel stuck. And then by this point, we're coming back up, which is all good. So this is maybe a bit too even. I'm gonna hold it back. Oh, I only did the Y accidentally. I had Y selected up here. So I'm just gonna hold it back. Looks like the teeth are moving in here. So I'm just gonna make sure they don't move. It still looks like they're moving, which is crazy. I guess they're not, maybe it's fine. Better. So here is where you need to look at how you can push those shapes to be clearer from this side angle. So a lot of it's just going to come from pushing to camera a bit more. There's a TH in here that's missing. Which comes from this tongue. I'm gonna have to look in that perspective. Ooh. Till the TH. Let's get that tongue in the middle. Some crazy rotations going on. Let's view this the same way. Maybe I'll scale it a bit. Cool. And then let's look at it in this view. So when you do TH, kind of roll in slightly. So let's do that. Just drop this back lip a bit more. Let's roll these lips out. Push them forward. So it's a clearer TH shape, even though we're from the side here. Still feels off, so I'm just going to bring this tongue in this side a bit. Keep it inside the silhouette, maybe. In the frame before, I'm going to get the tongue there. Actually feel like we're a frame late on it. So it seems like we open here. So here's the, so we're going to open, I'm going to reset the tongue. And we want to see, for an E shape, you want to see the top and bottom teeth. And it gets kind of wider oftentimes with the E. I'm going to calm down this roll. Maybe calm down the positioning slightly. Tuck these guys in a bit. The cool. So let's maybe keep these sneers a bit more active. Cool. So we've got till the, hopefully reading a bit easier, better. So maybe it's a bit too much. Maybe I'll have a bit less teeth showing. Cool, and let's look at this shape we talked about in the notes. So let's get this a bit more clear. Nice to see the tongue a bit more. Maybe we could cheer to camera. Cool, let's grab the lips and also the tongue, and then I think we can snap open here a bit more. Here we talked about the corners, let's look at that. So the corners, we can just delete this outward motion so we start to come forward. I feel like this can be a bit more. It's a bit too poppy, so let's maybe give it an extra frame. cool. I like the spacing. Maybe it's just a bit too broad. Let's just scale this back a little bit. I do want to look at this head angle, maybe. Think about it a little bit. So it's from the turn. Right up until like time, so through up to here. I'm gonna just cheat it to camera a bit more. And then I think there's just something a bit weird about the half lidded, doesn't feel right to me. Do we have lash controls? We do. So maybe it's just how flat the lashes are to camera. Maybe we can cheat that. It just feels off to me. Something about it feels real off to me. Maybe give her clearer lashes. That versus that. It's a little bit better. I wonder if it's the eye shape. Feels a bit off. It's like we're not really doing a half lid, we're doing a... Let's just play with it. Let's see what we can get. On mirroring. Let's compare that eye to that eye. Is that better? A little bit clearer. Let's look at this eye. Pull this up. Get a flat top to the lids. The rounded bottom. A little bit more open to this side. Let's compare this to this. Yeah, still a bit broken looking. I mean, the neck goes into the chin. That might be the rotation change I just did. Let's maybe try the brows a little bit. Lower this side. But connect the middle. Comparing this to this. Let's maybe bend these teeth back. That's a bit much. Maybe just this one. Spread a little bit. Just tuck them in a bit. Yeah, I do think it's better. It's not all the way there. Just take that eyes and brows change and we can propagate it. Still feels a bit strange. The head needs to be forward. Something just quite robotic feeling about the pose. Let's try raise the chin since I tucked it in too much. Teeth are doing all kinds of stuff now, so I changed some things. Teeth are breaking through. Let's get a spread check. Oh no, they're not breaking through. They're just doing something. The bend maybe? No. Just maybe tuck them in a bit more. Yeah, we don't need to see it as much. Make this M connect a bit lower and then push up. Forward. forward. And also the roll can be less, and then it kicks in. The corner can be tracked a bit more. Get more Z in general, I think. Got big open on this frame. So let's just ease that back. Cool. It's too much lip forward. That's fine. I just did a bit too much. Just get this down. So on, you need the tongue. Let's have a look. What does this do? It doesn't do anything. Okay. Let's get that tongue up. So here I feel like you're getting stuck in Z. So let's work towards it a bit more. And stay forward. So maybe on this frame we kind of snap. Don't know if we need to snap, but we can open. Let's look at it. It's a bit messy, isn't it? Let's clean this up. You don't need to fully close for this. It's better. So let's get into that W, tight W shape. I want to find the one I made earlier. Out here, I'm just going to copy it on the lips. Oops, did I hit mirror? I think I hit mirror. I don't want to do that. I just want to copy the pose. I feel like I need to get there. So let's try paste this. Oops, not just on the Y, on everything. But we're too spiky. Let's round it out. We got some nice roll. And we can counter puff this a bit as well. Maybe a bit too much. So let's look at these lips. So the open should be here. Look at it. And on that open, we can start to come with the lips. Oh, not just in here. Whoa, it's going crazy. This is where we're getting to. I'm going to delete the in-betweens. I'm going to start to bias. A bit better. Let's maybe work towards I think we need to get to this later and bias more the open. So let's try that. Let's try bias the lips back. I'm going to go for an open. Let's keep the lips back. And the teeth and tongue. Okay, we've got a run of key here. We need to get rid of. It's better, it's a little bit even. Out. We can do more of an I think. Teeth moving. No. It's a bit better. Don't like how fast this top lip moves back. I think that's partly this, if anything. Yeah. So let's maybe just have this do less. It's better. Cool, I want to open this up a bit more for this out. And then the tongue for the T. It's a bit crazy. Let's calm it down a bit. We've got to look at it in perspective. Maybe the tongue alignment here is a bit crazy. Let's try and fiddle with it. It's a bit crazy. Let's try and cheat a nicer shape. And then maybe we can see the flick down on the last frame before the close. Kind of want to see the middle a bit more. Kind of want to see the base of the tongue. See if we can get it in there. Maybe I'm getting this slightly too early. Delete this one. Delay it a frame. Better. Cool. Lip sync's better, I think. Needs work, but hopefully you can see kind of how I'm approaching doing changes.
I'm not your man.
I'm what you want here, I'm what you need here, just you and me, my love in paradise. Now till the end of time, from here on out, you're mine.
Yeah, it's better. The only thing I still feel like maybe we're just getting too teethy through here. Let's have a look. What if we calmed all of this down?
End of time.
How do you think it's the eyes?
Now till the end of time, paradise. Now till
I feel like this eye dart is too even as well. Let's quickly fix that. That's an extra note for you. Yeah, it's way too even. So maybe this is could be closer, and then it can get almost all the way there. Better. Cool. Apologies if I was figuring stuff out more so than explaining there. Lots of fiddly bits with lip sync. Hopefully you can see, especially the ending here. Okay, this is too even actually. Let's fix this before I say I'm done. Squash. It's maybe too delayed. Yeah. Oh, only selecting the Y. That might be part of it. Let's look at this. That's the bottom apex. Then let's have the first frame get most of the way there, and then we can delay it slightly and have it catch up. Cool. And then the lips. Just gonna snap them and ease them back slightly. Oops. I feel like the teeth feel like they're in a weird position here, especially for where they end up. I kind of want to get them closer to where they end up earlier. Maybe improve this a bit. Let's look at it. Maybe some of these need to tuck in. Tuck this in a bit. Tuck this in a bit. Let's try to clean this up a bit. Cool. I don't want to affect the corners. Let's just do the shaping. Say this is the shape I want. On this frame, I'm just going to snap to it and then ease. Snap to it and then ease. Then this frame's wrong, so let's just hold it. The teeth on this frame seem a bit off, so let's check that. Yep. Nice snap open. I feel like we're losing a bit too much volume in the face here. Maybe we can scale this up a bit. So let's try ease into this a bit. wonder if you don't have an upscale on this. Oh, don't worry. Maybe we can just play with the head rotation a bit more for the open. And then I would look at connecting some of this stuff. Like it's a bit disconnected. So maybe just look at the up and down. Push this forward and in a bit. Let's grab all of this. So yeah, from about here, we're going forward and in. And then maybe in here we can get a bit more compression. Now we can open it up for the mine. Keep it going. Drag it a bit, and then I wonder if you have a cheek puff or anything. What does he have here? He's got these guys. What are these? That's the neck. Okay. Does he have a cheek puff in the mouth corner, maybe? Puff. Ooh, okay. So we can add a little bit of this in here as well. Go like reverse cheek puff when you do these tight shapes. And then let's build some cheek puff in as this is compressing. Boom, boom, boom. All the way up to here, so let's do this frame, let's hold this back. Let's just turn it down a bit. Yeah, so there's definitely some face connectivity to do once you've figured out your lip sync, especially the nose as well. Like here, you could probably pull this stuff forward. Just connect it a bit more. Cool. Cool, we could keep working on this for a while, but hopefully you learned something from the demo. Cool, I think it's looking good. Let's check that in comparison to the first the original. Oh, prevent further dialogue. Let's just look at the ending at least. Oh, that's loud. Cool. So hopefully you can see a difference. A lot more connected feeling. Sweet. Cool. Best of luck implementing the notes, and let me know if you have any questions as always. Best of luck, dude.